This podcast is sponsored by YSC Real Estate Group, offering a tailor-made service, versatility and expertise for all your real estate needs. Are you thinking about selling, buying, investing or having your properties managed? For more information, check our website, www.yscrealestategroup.com. We are passionate about real estate and we love to support local businesses. We hope you guys enjoy the podcast. Cheers.
All right. Episode 45, Behind the Business.
First one in 2022.
Yes.
We were so busy, we haven't done one.
Yeah, we haven't done it in like 4 months probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have a special guest today, Tammy Phan with Luxe Du Jour. They specialize in online sales of luxury goods, also renting and a spa to restore bags as well, right?
Yeah. We're just an online destination where you can shop, sell, rent, or restore designer handbags. So if you have a designer handbag, you're going to want to know us because you're either using one of our services or all of our services.
Yeah, I was checking it out last night. I was like laying in bed just scrolling through the website.
Yeah.
Checking out the products.
Did you buy anything?
Well, one of the things that I noticed was that like a lot of stuff is sold out.
What?
No, like when you search.
Oh, when you search. Yeah, but if
Yeah.
you go into like new in or you filter, so all our sold items get filtered to the back.
Yeah, I realized that because I was like searching stuff and I was like, damn, everything's like sold out. So I was like, and then when I went into the fresh stuff, I was like, okay, this is where it's
There's
all
still a lot.
Yeah.
Is it all?
They're mainly all designer bags for women. We have a very small collection of men's stuff. The reason why is because actually we're trying to get into the watch game.
Yeah.
And in order to get into the watch game, we need a full-time authenticator, an expert when it comes to watches. So we're working on that and building that out. But so far right now, we kind of have a very small market of male. So we get in like designer duffel bags or messenger bags. But because we don't sell clothing, we don't have a lot of male demographic because men don't really like bags. Men like watches, clothes, and cars, which we don't really sell. We don't sell clothing. We don't sell a lot of shoes. We sell more high-end bags.
Small leather goods, though, I noticed.
And small leather goods.
Yeah,
but
men's,
you won't believe, actually, men don't actually shop pre-owned. A lot of men don't actually shop pre-owned. They're looking for rare things. This is the market research we did. But a lot of men, when they shop online, they're either looking for new or rare things that are not easily found in stores. But if they're going to find a messenger bag on consignment or get it brand new in store, they're going to much rather buy it brand new in store, which is what we found. So that's why our demographic is much smaller when it comes to men. And we don't currently cater a lot to men, but a lot of the wives or the girlfriends are buying things they find from for their boyfriends or husbands from our website when things do drop that are men, because we do have amazing deals. So if you're looking for a Louis Vuitton, Supreme, something, those get snatched up right away from their girlfriends. And then
It sounds like you are just wanting to tap into that market then.
We definitely do. Yeah. We're right now definitely, our audience is definitely more female.
Yeah.
But we definitely are getting into the watch game, so just watch out.
Yeah.
We are coming.
I saw that you guys sold one watch that was on there, like a Datejust.
Yeah. So we do sell some Rolexes, but they have to come full set, receipt. And then it is just a matter of going to our watch authenticator to get that authenticated. But you can see that if like 300 watches come in, we can't sustainably do that. So that's why we need a full-time watch authenticator.
Crazy.
Interesting.
Tell us the background and how many years you've been into this. And, you know, this is such a niche business to get into. Like, how did you get into this business? Why did you get into this business? And I guess, like, how long? And I see that you actually have, like, employers and, like, you're doing a lot of social media. You're actually created a full business on this.
Yeah, it definitely didn't start off as this be a business or this was going to be my full-time job. But it did start off with my passion for collecting designer handbags. So I did start at a younger age where I started collecting designer handbags. So I started from Louis Vuitton to Gucci to Chanel to Hermes. And after collecting a large amount of bags, with me and my best friend, we decided, well, okay, it's time to sell. We try to
So were
find.
you just buying to collect them, or were you buying to?
No, we
buying-
were just buying it to
Oh, so
collect
you didn't
them.
even
Buy 'em
use-
just to
yeah.
have them.
No, we bought it to use it,
Okay.
but we weren't like looking to actually resell them or flip them,
Yeah.
right? We had every intention to use them,
Yeah, yeah.
enjoy them, and then eventually, like when our style changes,
Yeah.
we will change it.
Yeah.
We'll switch out, right?
So how long ago was that?
That was when I was 21.
Holy shit.
So I can't disclose my age. Just kidding. If you do the math, you'll find out.
I was like so close to asking. Is it okay to ask you how old you are?
We won't ask.
Yeah.
But I guess how
well,
long have you been in
This
business?
is now a
for?
riddle.
Yeah.
This is now a riddle. Okay, but been in this business for 6 years. I started off with my best friend because we had like a collection of 40 designer handbags, as well as my other friends as
You
well.
guys had 40 handbags.
Yeah,
Together.
designer
Just
handbags
between you
together
two.
between us two. Yeah,
That's a lot.
somewhere around there. I don't remember now, but I
Jeez.
knew it was a lot that we literally were like, okay, let's start selling some because
Yeah.
we would have a little mini boutique.
Yeah.
So we tried selling them through eBay and Kijiji and those kind of selling platforms, and we had no luck. And you could only imagine how hard and impossible it was to try to sell on those platforms. And so we just got lowballers. Like, we were trying to sell a $5,000 handbag, and it was impossible to get someone to pay the $5,000 for that bag. So then we kind of explored some other options after always constantly getting scam emails, scam payments, fraud payments, and always worrying about those disputes, right? Back in the day, it was never a seller's game. It's if you ship something, they could call their credit card and just cancel on you after they got their item, and it was a rough game.
That happened?
Yeah, it does.
Oh,
yeah,
fuck.
we started off with smaller items that we actually got the buyer to pay the price that we were asking because it was a cheaper item, but then they would get it and they would say, no, the item is not as described, and then they'd want to ship it back, and then when they ship it back, they ship out like a masking tape
Or like empty?
or something like that, right? And
So was this like through Amazon or eBay or how?
this was
Probably
through eBay.
Oh, eBay.
Yeah, and then Kijiji was just so sketchy as well.
Yeah.
It was like meeting up with these people, and then you're always worried about getting robbed.
Legit.
Yeah.
That happened to my friend. So,
No, it happens.
So he was selling an AP, and they met at the bank
Yeah.
to go sell it because it was like a safe spot, all the cameras and stuff like there. The guy was like, "Oh, can I see it?" And then he when they opened the box, he grabbed it from the box and just ran.
Even if they were at a bank.
Yeah, they were at the bank, and then like their friend ran and tackled this guy, and then what happened was they damaged the AP.
No.
So they had to send it to Switzerland to get fixed. But
Oh my
but
goodness. Yeah.
they were like, we should just let this guy steal it because
Insurance.
insurance would have covered it fully.
There was cameras to prove it.
Exactly. And then the damage, because of the damage, the watch isn't worth as much anymore.
Oh my
'cause
God.
it's
Did
been
he go to
repaired.
jail?
I have no idea what happened to the guy, but yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, so a lot of people should be worried when they sell on Kijiji because some of our clients even told us that because they sell multiple bags on Kijiji, and you know how you can see how many listings they have?
Yeah.
So I hope no shady person is listening to this podcast because they're going to get some pointers, but they would ask questions like, oh, how many bags do you have? Can you bring me a few to see or something?
Yeah.
And they would be like, oh, I have like 20 for sale or whatever it was. And then they would go meet up, view the bags or something, but then they will follow that person home. So never go home. Like, she was literally, her whole house was robbed that weekend after.
Fuck. That's
Was that a
crazy.
coincidence? I don't know.
Yeah,
Right? Yeah.
it's pretty shady.
I guess I didn't even think about any of this. If
Yeah.
you're running a high end,
But that's why we're the safe platform, and we
Yeah.
absorb that risk from any sellers. So that's kind of why a lot of our clients sell their designer bags through us because they don't have to worry about the risk. Once your item is in our hand, if your item ever is stolen, that's not your responsibility. That's our company's responsibility, right?
So you guys have liability insurance?
Yeah,
and
we
stuff
have
like that?
liability insurance. We have we're in a Class A building.
Okay.
We're not a storefront also. We're
Yeah.
just a head office.
By appointment only, probably.
Yeah. So I got kind of sidetracked. Let me go back to the story. So
Yeah.
I tried selling my bags on Kijiji. So I was like, no, not interested. So I tried finding some consignment that,
Do you have a crazy story to tell about like selling on Kijiji or any?
well, yeah, I got fake check payments or fake email transfer payments.
Oh.
Yeah. Like, people would send you legitimate looking email transfer payments, and if you accepted, it was literally just you giving your access card and bank password to them.
Yeah.
Wait.
I've
so-
seen that in another language. Like they'll send it to you
Yeah.
in French, but it's actually them requesting money from you.
They do that too.
Yeah, I've seen that.
I've seen that just recently.
Yeah.
But
wait. So you you were selling bags, try to sell bags, and while you were selling bags, people that saying that they were buying the bags would send you emails actually that were like,
it looked like email transfer payments.
and it was
Fake.
them scamming you.
Yes, they were
And they took your
scamming.
bag.
No, they wanted to.
Oh.
But the thing is, I worked at TD Bank before, so they didn't get me. Okay, so thank you, TD Bank. But they always told us what to look out for. So when you got an email transfer payment, it looked so real. But the things I knew about like email transfer, for example, is you have to always check the email that's coming from. You should never. Nothing will be put on hold before. And on hold until you ship the item. So some of the email transfers would say, the funds will be released to you when you reply to this email with tracking. So they make that email transfer look legit, but it's just on hold. But obviously that is kind of a more obvious one to know. But imagine, like, some elderly people might not know that. They just think, oh, okay, yay. An email transfer with the TD logo or the whatever reputable bank logo is giving you an email transfer, but they're just holding the funds until you ship the item. Right? And then you ship your item and then you realize that was just a fake email transfer, right? But then there's now advanced email transfers that, you know how when you want to deposit the money, you enter your login details and your password to get in. But those were just surface, they were fake just to get your details.
So they log in and then
Exactly.
That's
so it's crazy. So that didn't work out, and that's why. Yeah, I've had a few. I've been scammed. My fair share of selling, buying designer handbags. But I learned.
Business
right?
lessons learned. Like,
exactly.
You learn the most from making mistakes that
Exactly.
cause the most pain.
Yeah.
So like
That was
that's
just my school.
hard lesson
Yeah.
learned. Hard knocks.
For sure. So then pretty much I tried to reach out to local consignment at the time because I'm like, where on earth do we sell these designer handbags? And then I found some local consignments and I was so shocked to find out they took 40 to 50%.
That's a
and that was huge. If you're selling a $5,000 handbag, you don't want to lose 40 to 50%. That's you're left back with chump change on your designer handbags, right? So
is that the typical going rate though?
That is the typical going rate for, especially when you go into consignments now that are selling shoes and clothing. They take an average of 40%. And I know a lot of them right now that are competitors that they do. It's just because they sell clothing. So when you sell clothing, of course, they're going to take 40% because sometimes they're only $60. They need to make a living. They can't take that little of a fee. So how we started it was Instagram was just peaking at the time, and we were just like, let's just try to sell it on our own. So we went on Instagram, created an account. My best friend was the one that actually came up with the name. She's very creative when it comes to those names because I love that name until today.
Luxe Du Jour?
Luxe Du Jour.
What does that mean?
It means luxury of the day
Luxury
in
of the day.
French.
That's
Yeah.
smart, That's awesome
Yeah.
because you could post something every day on Instagram.
We
This
do,
is the luxury of the
actually.
day. I see
Yeah.
it all the time. So
Yeah. We started posting our own items, taking photos of it and posting on Instagram. And then we started building this niche little market. People would, and at that time, Instagram was not what it was today. It was not a shopping platform. Right now, Instagram is a shopping platform. Anything
It's a
you
lot
want to
more
buy,
business for sure.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
now business. It's not really looking at people's day-to-day lives, but it is very targeted to business. So we started building up this niche market that was into designer handbags. And then eventually we get inquiries, and then eventually we sold some of our stuff and we were able to sell off some of our stuff. And then that's how it started. And then some people were like, oh, can I list my bag on here? How do I list my bag on here? And that's when we figured out the problem was like, okay, the problem is too high consignment rates. We are selling very high-end designer handbags. We can take much lower consignment rates. So we were starting off at only taking 10%, and that was huge for our clientele. To get back 90% in your pocket, it was huge. And because we do all the work, we have to deal with all those low ballers, which we all know and love. And then we always have to deal with the time wasters that ask you 100,000 questions and then tell you that they have a budget of $25.
So was this you and your business partner?
We started it.
Just you two at the beginning, dealing
Yeah.
with all the clients and everything. Okay.
Yeah, so it was just me and my business partner that started it. After 6 months, my business partner decided to open up a nail salon.
Oh, so
So
you guys
she,
aren't-
she's no longer, she's not with the company now,
Yeah.
but she's still my best friend,
Yeah,
which is great.
Yeah.
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 So we both pursued the different businesses. I continued on with Luxe Du Jour, and she continued on with her business.
Oh, okay, okay. So you guys went your own ways on good terms, and then is that when you started like pushing hard on it?
Yeah, I did push hard on it because I know the reason why my best friend left. And it wasn't because she left me. It was just because she needed something profitable, right? And it wasn't profitable at first.
No business is profitable.
Yeah, no instant
So
business.
no business is ever profitable.
First couple years, I would
Yeah,
say.
exactly. And especially being in the first 6 months, of course, she opened a successful nail salon that was profiting, right? Right away. But yeah, we didn't know where this would go. It was just to sell off our personal collection. But then eventually I just kept at it, and I didn't want to drop it because that was my passion. So I did continue it on, and it blew up to what it is today with definitely 16-hour days. Very
70,000
minimal
followers.
Yeah.
There's a lot that happens like then and now that people don't see, right? And they see and I think this is why we created the podcast, is like when we start getting really busy, they're like, oh, it's so easy, it's this, and then it's like, no,
It's definitely
it's not.
not. I look happy inside, but I'm really dead inside.
Yeah, we know how that feels.
Yeah.
Because it's like a lot of people don't see like the struggles, the trials, the
Yeah.
tribulations, like the shitty nights, you know,
Yeah.
like the nights you lose sleep, all these things. They just see like the glamour.
Yeah,
So they're like, oh shit,
exactly.
that's so easy. But it's like, yeah, because you're only seeing what I want you to see.
Yeah. I live, breathe, and sleep my business now. It's like my mind doesn't turn off. And people don't know it's like you are working 16-hour days if you want it to work. There is no work-life balance when it comes to entrepreneurship. I truly don't believe in it, even
Yeah.
though I instill it with my team and people who work for the company. I try to instill it on them, but it's almost unfair because I truly don't believe it for myself. I've never had that since I had the business. And I've honestly never actually really had that when I worked at TD Bank because I was doing this on the side and trying to always start something. Like I failed 3 times before Luxe Du Jour was successful. I tried microblading eyebrows. I tried being a mortgage broker. I tried doing
Me too. I was a mortgage broker.
yeah, I tried doing all those, but not everyone sees how many times you fail to actually succeed.
So were you at TD and doing Lux at the same time? And then I guess at what point did you know, like, okay, I gotta leave TD and do this full time?
I was at TD while doing this part-time, but then when I started making, my first $5,000 a month, and it just kept growing from there, and it replaced my 9-to-5 job salary, essentially. That's when I was like, okay, I'm going to quit TD because I know that I am making a full-time salary doing this. And if I focus on it, eventually I can grow it. So that's when I knew that it was the right time to leave. It's when I felt comfortable at leaving my 9-to-5 because I was making at least a salary
Yeah.
in the company. Yeah.
How many people are at your company?
Right now, we have 10 at our head office, but we actually have 14 worldwide taking into our other locations.
14?
Yeah.
What other
Yeah.
locations do you guys have?
So we have selling studios in Vancouver, Malaysia, Hong Kong, and Thailand.
Holy shit.
And they're just selling studios. So clients worldwide, this was a strategy so that we could build an international presence. So we bought out smaller resellers. And what we did was let them work exclusively for us if we could bring clients to them. So now clients worldwide in those countries or near those countries can easily ship or drop off at those locations and sell with our company. And
What do you call those? Selling
Settle.
studios.
Selling studios.
They're like
Yeah.
satellite locations, essentially, that they
Kind
can,
of,
that they
yeah.
can receive.
They
the
can
product.
receive and dispatch from there, but they can still authenticate there and go through our process. Yeah.
and you're in
Our head office is in Calgary.
yes,
That's
yeah.
crazy.
and you have one in Vancouver.
One in Vancouver, one in Hong Kong, one in Thailand, and one in Malaysia.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
You must get a lot of fake ones in Thailand.
No, we get fake ones a lot
Oh, really?
worldwide.
Everywhere,
Even
yeah.
in Canada,
Yeah.
even in Calgary, people will
Yeah.
drop off fakes.
I saw that post that you guys did with
yeah.
that Birkin.
Yeah.
That was fake.
that was a client from Montreal.
Shit, yeah. It was like
Yeah.
a $20,000 bag, right?
Yeah.
So they drop it off, but you do your authentication.
Not
for-
on the spot.
Not on the spot.
No, it has to go through our multi-step verification and
Yeah.
authentication process, and then it's just very awkward when we have to call them. Our product specialist calls them and it's like, hey, so just wanted to clarify, where did you get this bag? And then you can kind of tell whether they're lying or not based on their answers. And if they honestly tell you, oh, I got it from, gifted down from my grandma that passed away, or no, I bought it from Ho Renfrew itself, right? Then you kind of know, okay, well, let's see if you can go to Ho Renfrew and get a reprint receipt, because we're going to tell you that this is counterfeit. But then oftentimes it is gifts.
Yeah. Interesting.
Or they buy it off eBay. Or they buy it off Poshmark.
Yeah. That's crazy. Because I heard that even in the Louis Vuitton store in Hong Kong, there was like a scam going on between like the associates where they were actually getting fake bags and swapping them out with the real bags and selling them to people from the Louis Vuitton store.
When people say that, oh no, I'll only buy from store, they don't even know that there's this huge scandal of every bag you have should still get authenticated. Because if you go to Holt, those people don't authenticate there. So whatever you buy and you return, they're not authenticating if that was the bag they actually sold to you.
Oh, shit. Gee, this is a whole...
This is becoming a very shady podcast. I don't like it.
How does someone authenticate it?
Yeah, so that's why when I'm in the industry for now over 10 years of collecting and really studying the bags, and that just comes with my passion. But now we have a device called Entropy, which is an AI technology that scans at a microscopic level, and that the whole company is based on authenticating bags. So what that company does, it's called Entropy, and they scan millions of authentic bags under their microscopic level and put it into an algorithm so that only businesses can have this device. And you have to pay thousands of dollars to lease it every month, depending on your volume. You scan these bags at a microscopic level, and then it goes into the algorithm to determine, okay, this is consistent with an authentic bag. And then it's also having other resources and having that human factor in it. So you definitely cannot just rely on 100% technology. You definitely need to have a human factor to smell, feel, and actually like hold the bag. So that's why we have a multi-step authentication process. We don't just rely on that technology, because technology can glitch. Technology can fail. So if you're only relying on that technology to determine authenticity, we've seen that machine make mistakes sometimes. So sometimes I would smell a bag and it would smell like pure chemical. And I know that's not how that bag should smell. And then you also feel it, and it's very lightweight. Okay? So it looks all authentic and it might be made of real materials, but if you don't feel it, a machine cannot feel the bag, and a machine can't smell the bag. But this machine said it was authentic, but our lead authenticator said, no, there's no way. This smell and the weight is off. Just like if you were to do a diamond or a watch or something like that. I'm not sure how they authenticate with watches or diamonds, but then we flagged it on that machine and we said, please have a secondary review for this. And then what happened was that machine says, hi, this was a false authentication. This item is counterfeit after. If we hadn't had a lead authenticator to feel and smell that bag, that machine would have just said it was authentic by accident. But because we raised that flag, they were able to do a secondary human review based on the photos that were submitted. And then they actually revoked that authenticity and said, yes, this is actually counterfeit.
Crazy.
It sounds like you got into the business of selling bags.
Yeah.
And a lot of your business is actually authentication.
It
of the
is.
bags.
That's our whole reputation.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
If we sell one fake by mistake, you should just expect to be done for. Like, that's your reputation on
Yeah.
the line.
Yeah. Every post is like 100% authenticity guarantee.
And we offer a lifetime of guarantees. So
Yeah.
that means if you buy a bag from us, pretend it's $20,000, and 10 years down the road, you were like, you know what, I think I'm going to go send this into repair for Hermes. And Hermes tells you and doesn't repair your bag because it says non-authentic. Do you know who's backing that refund up? We are. So clients can shop with confidence, and that's why we have to perfect our authentication process. And that's why it's not easy to do this business if you don't kind of have that background knowledge. Like, are you going to buy a Rolex from a dealer that you're like, how did you start this business? I want to know about your authentication process, right? And they were like, oh, no, I don't know that. I just sell them because I like them,
Yeah.
right? You really have to have that trust and authentication to back your company, because that is mainly what we do. That is our whole business.
That's crazy. You went from selling designer bags out of pure passion to being like a forensics
Yeah.
like authenticator for bags because
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
you have like a 100% personal guarantee on all these
Yes.
bags. So that's pretty sick. That's probably why you have like that following and also
Mm-hmm.
that loyalty from your clients because of that, right?
Yeah.
Because there is a ton of like fake designer goods.
And there's a lot of scammers too. We've
Yeah.
seen consignments pop up every day. And then there turns out to be a consignment that sells a few bags and then runs off. And then they just disappear on Instagram. Right? What happened? Everyone gave them, let's say, 50 bags. They had a collection of people's 50 bags. It's you also have to think about that, right? Okay, is this consignment reputable enough for me to leave my $20,000 handbag with them?
They're
Right?
not just gonna pick up and run
And
away.
they're not going to pick up and run away and just delete their Instagram, right? So it's very hard, this business, to build that trust, and that is pretty much our business model, is having that trust. It's not just a matter of selling. Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Tell us about this.
This Hermes Birkin.
Yeah. This is
I don't know anything about
Yeah.
this high-end
Ja-
fashion stuff.
Jason called me like 30 minutes before you were coming. It's like, tell her to bring a bag. I was like,
Oh,
oh my
yeah, I
God. I'm
did.
like, she's
Don't worry.
probably
I
gone.
did.
So I had to
I-
message Chantel and I was
Yeah.
like, okay, is she going to bring a bag? And she's like, well, she's got a Birkin with her. I was like, all right,
Yeah.
that's the best bag probably to
She
bring.
knows, yeah. This is an Hermes Crocodile Nylotic Kiss Birkin. So this bag is so... People don't know about the Hermes game. I'm
Yeah.
not sure if you guys are familiar
No.
with the Hermes
I
game.
am, yeah.
Dave is
Okay.
not me.
For
so
sure.
let's just refresh people on the Hermes game. So the Hermes game, you can't walk into their store and view a Birkin, or you can't walk into Hermes and be like, I have 100,000 right now, sell me a Birkin. It
Yeah.
won't do that. The reason why is because you have to play their profile building game and their weight game,
Uh-huh.
because that's their business model. Their business model is exclusivity.
Yeah.
They want to make their most cherished bags almost a way of how to sell their other garbage stuff.
Yeah.
Not, but
You have to work
for
you have to work
example,
your way up.
yeah, you have
earn
to
it.
work
You
your
have to-
way
yeah,
up.
yeah.
Yeah. So that means buying their $1,200 ashtray, buying their $1,500 blanket, buying their $300 towels, buying their $100 deck of cards,
Yeah.
from $1,000 a plate, right? And they have a stuffed horse that's $800.
Yeah, I saw that.
Right? Yeah. So that's part of their game. We want to see how much you truly love our brand in order for us to offer you this Birkin. And most of the time, everyone will do it because they want to feel that exclusivity. And that's why a lot of times, if you go on our website to purchase a Birkin, our prices are very fair compared to the bigger players because they're 3 timesing their prices.
This might explain what a Birkin is. Is that a bag?
That's
Yes,
this bag.
it's a
the
bag.
style
It's
of
a
this
style
bag.
of the
Okay.
bag. Yeah. This is the
I'm
Hermes
like
Birkin.
here when I.
Oh,
I just think it's the
sorry.
bag.
Yeah, so the Hermes Birkin is the
Okay.
famous, the bag and the style.
Yeah. It's with that clasp, with that lock.
Yeah.
It closes.
And then there's something called a Kelly, Hermes Kelly, which is something that looks a little different but has a little strap.
Okay, and this
Yeah.
is like,
This is
what's the cost of this?
This one,
what
if
is the
you
cost
buy
of this
it
brand new in this gator?
yeah, if you buy this brand new, currently 2022 price, it is around $60,000 brand new.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. But you couldn't even get it. Like even if
Yeah.
you had 60 G's to buy it, you couldn't get it
Yeah.
because you had to work
Yeah.
your way up. It's very similar in like Ferrari, Rolex,
Yes,
Louis Vuitton.
exactly.
You can't go for the cream of the crop
Yeah.
even if you had the money.
Damn.
You got to work your way up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so-
it's fucked.
I could never justify that.
Yeah.
That is
Not
60
now,
Yeah.
not now.
Yeah.
But when you're
When I'm a billionaire.
super balling, yeah.
But
But
crazy that bag right there.
Yeah.
Do we have that on camera?
Yeah.
yes, you do. Oh, right
But the
here.
thing is that
60,000.
they have these bags in stock that you
Yeah.
could skip that line.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Because it's resale.
Exactly.
Yeah. And
but-
for a better price too.
Sometimes they're a better price if they're used, but if they're brand new, you're gonna be expecting to pay double price.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
so
crazy.
that's why a lot of people that don't know the Hermes game, they sometimes come to our website and they're like, why are you selling this Hermes Birkin for double the price? Well, because the person who had to get it had to probably spend over $10,000 in stores to even be offered it. It wouldn't be worth their time. No one is going to sell you a brand new Birkin at retail price. And if they do, I guarantee you that it's fake. Right? Because anyone...
Could I
Absolutely.
just never held a.
Yeah.
whoa, you should have picked it up by the handle.
If he drops it, I'm done. I'm out of here.
Is there a way to hold this?
Yeah, by the handle.
By the handles.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy. Yeah, I saw it. I was like, oh wow, gator.
So this is made out of.
It's Niloticus saltwater crocodile.
Yeah, because they also have them in ostrich as well too.
Yeah,
right?
the ostrich is.
really
It looks
cool.
like a chicken pox bag.
Yeah, I've seen
Yeah.
that before.
You know, I don't want to offend anyone, but this is 60,000
Yeah.
Canadian.
That's Canadian, yeah. If you were to go in a store brand new and you're a VIP and you wanted to buy it, it would cost you $58,000 around there because Hermes has price increases all the time.
Yeah, same with Louis Vuitton. They just increase it by like 20-something%
Exactly.
on all their bags.
Yeah.
I've seen it before. Yeah.
And that's not even the creme de la creme of the bags. We sold a Birkin, the Himalayan Birkin bag, which was $160,000 just last
For a
year.
bag.
Yeah.
160.
To a Vancouver client. Yeah.
They're collectible.
Yeah.
Jesus.
But do you know how much that Hermes
Was that
Himalayan Birkin
Was that the
is worth
highest
now?
sale?
That was our highest
highest
sale.
sale, okay.
Yeah, that was our first time, and it sold out in 5 minutes.
Holy
We
shit.
posted it, and the client purchased it right away. And what's crazy is they just purchased this February of 2021. We had people at the end of 2021 asking us, "Do you have another Himalayan Birkin? We will purchase it for $230,000 right now." And I reached out to the client and I said, "Hey, are you looking to sell it? Because you can make a quick $50,000 if you wanted to sell it, because she only bought it for $160,000." She would not sell it. She says, "Nope. I know in a couple of years it's going to be worth $300,000. I'm keeping it."
Yeah. It's really crazy. The luxury like watch, bags, cars game.
She can wear that and it's still appreciating.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, not me. I'm
Not
like
you.
Not yet.
not.
Hey, honestly, I think that was a good real estate flip, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess, man, like I guess I understand why the authentication now
very
is very
serious.
critical. You're now, authenticating. Tell us a little bit behind the business and how you grew it to where it was.
Yeah. So this came with, I am a dropout from high school. Didn't even graduate
Me
high
too.
school.
That's the
Me
best.
too.
Yay.
Oh
yeah,
no,
so-
I graduated high school.
Oh,
University.
damn. Okay, why you gotta one up with me like that? But yeah, so I actually was a dropout from high school, so I don't even have any of that background. I don't have marketing degrees or any fancy bachelors.
You know what? None
But-
of that matters now, though.
I agree.
In this day and age, I feel like school is just.
I
know,
agree.
I can't say it's not important for the parents out there, but like
It's-
I don't personally
yeah.
believe in it, right?
It's not that I don't believe in it. It's just that if my kids choose not to go to pursue a post-secondary, I will 100% be okay with that now. But because you're Asian also, that we grew up in families where you were supposed to be a doctor and you were supposed to be an engineer,
I was supposed
right?
to be. I am an
Accountant,
engineer,
yeah.
but I was supposed to be.
damn,
I was
okay.
supposed to be a dentist.
Yeah, so we would put that pressure on, and it was literally like, if you don't go to school, you will have nothing for you.
Yeah.
Right? And it was crazy to break that family tradition and that thought process. But
It's hard because I dropped out as an accountant, and I
Mm-hmm.
had like no plan. Like I knew I wanted to get into real estate, but I was like, my parents were like, "What the hell are you doing?" Right?
yeah, it's so risky.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. But pretty much it was just a matter of me going online with our resources now. Like my parents up until today don't understand how I make money behind a computer and be
Yeah.
on a phone.
Yeah.
Right? And so it's like witchcraft to them, to be
Legit.
honest.
Yeah.
But what happened is, because I didn't have that school, I just Googled everything.
Yeah.
Everything I wanted to learn. YouTube was a thing.
Yeah.
It was, how do I incorporate a company first? That was probably the first Google, right?
yeah.
And then the next was, how do I market on social media? And this was me not spending any money for 5 years on marketing. I did not pay for paid ads because I knew nothing about paid ads. How am I going to spend money on running ads when I didn't know how to run ads, right? So I did a lot of organic growth. So I found out strategies. I read a lot of books. So that's something I really highly recommend. If you want to be successful, if you don't read books, I really don't think
Yeah.
you have a really low chance of becoming successful. Whether it's reading books or podcasts or researching online, that still has to do with reading, but
It's like continuing education. right?
Education, yeah.
And I think what people don't realize is like after school, if you're not pursuing that, it's very hard to grow and develop in
Yeah.
the real world, right?
You skip all the things you don't want to learn in school because I know school has a lot of filler things,
Yeah.
right? You skip all that and you go learn exactly what you need at the time. So,
To be honest, I think school doesn't really prepare you for the real life, right?
no.
No.
They don't-
I saw
they-
funny post. It was like, I'm trying to figure out my taxes, and all school
Tommy
taught me
was the
s-
mitochondria
Yeah.
of a cell. Yeah.
Well, like square dancing, right?
Yeah,
You're like,
seriously. It was like, when have I ever used the hypotenuse of a triangle?
Yeah,
or
like
whatever it
history of
is.
like memorizing, like, because everything. If the thing is like, I don't like school because they get you to memorize stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and like in real life, you have access to all the tools and resources
Mm-hmm.
that. What's the point of memorizing all this stuff when it's right in the it's like right at Google, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and don't get me wrong. I mean, like all my cousins and my family are all huge, high pay degrees.
it just
They're-
wasn't for you.
It,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
just wasn't for me, right? And I Googled everything and I read a lot. And anything I needed to learn for my next steps, I just seeked that information, and it was just about being resourceful. A lot of people may miss is how to become resourceful. If you aren't resourceful, because I had someone that always went to me to ask these questions, but the answer was right in front of you. If you have a phone, if you have a computer, you can find your answer online.
Legit.
Right?
Like you have essentially like the information of the world in the palm of your hands.
You do.
You just need to ask like
Utilize
inquisitive
it.
questions of what
Yeah.
you're looking for, and then it'll come to you, right?
Yeah.
The other way too is like finding maybe a mentor, or like finding something that is online that's a mentor, like you said, videos, books, podcasts, all those things. A lot of people aren't using a lot of those resources because when they finish school, they stop learning.
Yeah.
Right, and like a lot of the learning just comes just from your own personal passions and also your personal interests and things. If you're people are like, I feel like a lot of people just want to like distract themselves than to actually learn something and step outside the comfort zone of their world and create something that they're passionate about, that they love to do.
Exactly. Like we always hear the saying, it's like if you ask a fisherman to catch you a fish, you eat for a day, but the fisherman did it for you. But if you ask a fisherman to teach you how to fish, you'll eat for the rest of your life. Because I did have a friend before that they would always ask me to help them do something, right? Instead of asking how to do something and then they do it.
Yeah.
So there's a huge difference with that.
Yeah,
And then if you become that friend that always asks someone to do something for you, you'll always need that friend, or you'll always need someone else, right? But if you seek out the answers and you execute it yourself or do it yourself, then you'll be able to do it all the time without that person, right? I kind of got that wording wrong, I feel.
Okay. Yeah.
No, that's
But you
actually
guys
right.
kind of understood
Yeah.
No,
what I
that-
was trying to get at, right?
Yeah, you teach a man how to fish, he eats for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
You give him a
Catch-
fish a day,
Yes.
he comes to you for a fish,
Yes,
right?
right.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know. It's something like that.
Yeah,
we-
something like that.
It's very damn close.
Yeah.
It's like an old school
Yeah.
like Asian proverb
Exactly.
or something.
Yeah, but
But how did so you were growing, you were developing yourselves to grow the business the way it is right now. Did you ever, when you first start, did you ever like? Are you surprised where you're at right now? Or like, holy shit!
yes, I am.
Yeah.
Because I lacked a lot of confidence in what I could do without school, because that was engraved in my head, right? It was like my parents pretty much lost faith in me. They were really like, oh, look at you and you're this little business, or oh, how much did you make today? You could have been making what your cousin's making, 120,000 a year, right? And things like that, right? So that was constantly an insecurity of mine and it is very surprising that where I am today without that education background, but not anymore. So alongside with that is what also helped my success was also cutting out leeches or toxic people in
Yeah.
your life. The people that want you to only party. The people that want to only go drinking.
Yeah.
The people that there's something that I learned along the way when I was reading, and it was determining who are your asset friends and who are your liability friends. And if you only keep your friends because of, oh, you guys have history together, you guys vibe well together, then that's all that it is, that's not an asset friend, right? That's a liability friend. But then there are asset friends, and you break this in a column, and you list the things that they add value to, or what aligns with your life. At the end of the day, it's okay to have party friends if you are, let's say, that is your goal in life, to party for the rest of your life. That's your goal, right? But most of the time, if people want to become successful, I don't think, let's say, partying and drinking and doing drugs would contribute a lot of success, right? So
I'm like, whoa, who's doing drugs
Yeah.
here?
no, but and then you break down and it's like, okay, how do I find out who my asset friends and my liability friends are? And sometimes your vision is, if you want to be fit and if you want to be in shape, you might have that one friend and be like, let's go for burgers, let's go for ice cream, no, let's skip workout day or whatever, right? If that doesn't truly align with your goals in life, that is a liability friend, and you should get rid of that friend, right? Because that person's only going to keep you where you are or even bring you down. Yeah. If you're trying to get fit, find those asset friends that are like, yeah, I'll go to the gym with you. Let's go, right? Or, hey, I'm meal prepping. Here's some of my recipes. Let's meal prep. And like that is an asset friend, right? It really depends on people's goals. So that was what really helps me. I have so little friends right now. I'm like a loner, but it aligned with my goals.
Yeah.
I don't think I would be successful if I had all those distractions in place. Like if I constantly was like, because all my friends, like at a young age, imagine you're 22, 23, of course you're partying. Of course you're looking for the next party every weekend, right? But my goal was, okay, what podcast am I listening to next weekend instead, right? Climbing up to become successful, it becomes such a lonely stage, and you just have to think about what is worth it to you, right? You can be the most popular person by 35, but not retired and not rich, let's say, or you can be a introvert, a very successful person because you sacrificed all those parties to get to where you are, right? Yeah. Because what's different about right now is, yes, I had barely any friends during my climb.
I think it's hard when you climb too. Like I experienced that too. It's like you start realizing there's a point in your career where you start realizing like, shit, like maybe I'm a little different now than I was.
Oh, you're a completely different person.
But the people that remain the same, they don't like you changing.
Yeah.
They don't.
They're like, you've changed.
Yeah.
It's like, I have changed. You haven't.
And you should change. How can you expect your salary to change? This is what I tell my staff is, how do you expect your salary to change if you don't change?
I need that as a quote.
Yeah.
Okay.
I already know a couple of people I can share.
Yeah, we're gonna clip that.
Say that again.
How do you expect your salary to change if you don't change?
Boom.
Yeah.
Podcast is done.
Yeah. Mic drop. Yeah, so I teach that to my staff because a lot of the time people are looking for work-life balance. And when you're working for a company that has so much growth and so much more to offer in the future, I try to tell them that, and everyone's scared of change. It's like I always have to change their positions or be like, hey, add more to your plate. Do you want to do this in the future? And sometimes people just want comfort, and that's okay. But then you can't also expect your salary to change. Yes. If you're the same person 1 year ago making $50,000 a year and you're still doing the same thing and you're still the same person a year from now making why would you expect to have a $70,000 salary, right? But it's the same when you look at it as entrepreneurship too. If you don't change as a person, why would your income or revenue streams change, right?
So you have these conversations with your team?
Yeah.
Oh, crazy.
Because how I look at our company is a startup. We have so much more that we're doing in the plan, and you should have known, if you knew me 3 years ago, I was a complete introvert, but now I'm kind of an extrovert because now I'm doing more of my CEO duties, which is networking and business development and really working on the expansion of the company externally. Before, I was just this person working out of my home in my basement by myself, right? So I'm a completely different person because I know I want my salary to change so bad that I constantly have to change. Like I can't be that same introverted person and expect my company to be a well-known brand.
Yeah, you gotta be on the forefront of the business.
Yeah.
You gotta switch a hat now.
Are you like, do you have a mentor? Do you have a coach? Because I feel like what you're saying, it makes sense to me. It makes sense to Dave. A lot of entrepreneurs, business people, they get stuck in this work and the duty of that role, right? And in order to grow, you need to evolve and delegate.
Yes.
What advice can you give for someone that is like kind of stuck? Because like it makes sense to you when you say that, right? Like, you know, you should have seen me 3 years ago, and what you're doing now is totally different. You had to change from extrovert to introvert to extrovert, right? Because you knew you had to get yourself to the next level. Like, how does someone that's stuck get out of that mindset?
It's finding the right people. So I recently last year hired a business coach. And that was a huge game changer for me. To find a business and leadership coach, I knew that because I didn't have a background in business and because I was not a good leader, because I've never led a team, I was never a manager at TD, right? How can I expect to lead my team to success, right? So because I knew that was one of my weaknesses, I went out and found a qualified business coach or mentor, as you say, to really teach me how to become the best leader I could be and help me along the way. And does that come with a pretty dollar price tag on it? Yes, it does. They are not cheap.
You know, we have a coach too.
Yeah.
We have a real estate coach.
Oh, yeah. So those don't come. But remember, don't ever look at the price of the cost. Look at the value that it could bring. So what I know a lot of people, they might look at books and they're like, oh, but that cost me $40. No, that's too expensive. That's $80, right? Whenever I shop for books, I don't actually look at the price tag of them. I just look at, oh, look, $1 million here. Because if I read it and execute it, I could make $1 million. Sometimes some of the books I read and I execute, they have contributed to the success of the company. So anytime I look shopping for books or shopping for courses online, is I look at, okay, how much money can I make from that? Yeah, that looks like 50,000. That looks like $1 million, right? And it's just changing your mindset out of looking at the cost of things. Because, you know, with Asian parents, they're always like, oh, so expensive. Why you pay $8 for the banana? But,
$8 banana.
Yeah, okay, but that was a bad example. That's my bad.
Yeah.
No, I
People
get what
who
you're
buy
saying.
it,
Yes,
they're like, I look at the value it brings for my health.
Yeah.
Organic is worth whatever price tag it is to me. So it's really just changing your mindset of how you look at the price tags of things and what value it could bring to you.
Yeah. People are so focused on the price of everything and not the value of everything.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Yeah, and like books, self-development, like I find it is a compound effect. Like I read a lot too. I'm in a lot of self-development course, and you know that one sentence or paragraph in a book could like alter your life.
Yeah.
Right? Because you're like,
It
holy
has.
shit, that paragraph like gives you a shift in mindset that you could never get anywhere else, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
And it's like it's different every time you read it or take that course again too, because like you get what you need at that time. But like as you grow and as you develop, things change and you might get more from different parts of the book as you go through, right? So like a perfect example, that a book that we read when we were young was Rich Dad Poor Dad.
I love that book.
That's what got us through real estate, right? And like I go through the cash flow quadrant once a year just to listen to it, to see what stage is the next stage, right? Like I do a repeat. I've done a few books that like I get something from it every time, but it's different every time because as you evolve,
interpret it different.
yeah, because when I read that book in high school and when I read that now, like it's so different because I was like friggin' 17 years old when I read that book. It didn't make any sense to me, but as you get into it and you kind of get more deep into the real estate game, it starts to become more prominent of what he's saying as you get into the later chapters of the page. Right?
Exactly.
So,
Yeah, man. Education is
Read.
Yeah, continuous education I think is the biggest thing for sure.
The book I'm reading right now is Scaling Up because that's the stage I'm in right now. And I've learned so much from that. And I constantly have to reread chapters. And I'm like, hey, did I execute that?
Don't you feel like it never ends though? Because when when you said scaling up, right? You're already scaled up. But I understand. We have the same feeling too, you know. We could scale it more, you know. So like, don't you feel like when
It's never ending.
Yeah.
yeah.
So I do have an exit strategy.
Oh.
I don't know if you guys have an exit strategy.
we don't.
Yeah, so in my business plan, so I found this out recently. So if you guys find it out, it's never too late to find out your exit strategy.
Yeah.
But my exit strategy was to go IPO. and to be the chairwoman of the board. That's my exit strategy. And in order for me to do that, of course, there is confidential things along the way that I can discuss in the business plan. That is my exit strategy. So this is something I learned from one of my good friends that is also in a business. And this was remembering. Find out which friends you want and what friends you need. And one of my friends, when she showed me her investor deck, because she wanted me to invest, a lot of her months were negative. And I was so shocked. And I asked her, I'm like, hey, what is this negative this for this month, right? And this. And because there was a lot of months that said negative, but I was like, that doesn't make sense because my company is constantly cash flow positive. So I never knew that there was that.
Yeah.
Side thing with your company, you basically have no overhead with the
Consignment.
Is
No,
that right?
we do. We do now.
Oh,
but
you
before
didn't.
we didn't.
Okay.
Yeah, before we didn't because we're all consignment, so
Yeah.
we don't pay out until it's sold.
Oh.
And especially when I was at home,
Yeah.
there was no overhead.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But now, because we have staff to pay, a head office,
Yeah.
and then now we buy out bags. So if you don't want to wait until your bag gets sold, we'll buy it from you
At a
directly.
Yeah. At a better price.
At a lower price,
Yeah, yeah.
but we have higher margins.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like a spread on it.
Yeah. So when I asked her about this, she's like, yeah, because why would you want to be profitable? And I was so confused. And I said, well, why wouldn't you want to be profitable? What is the point of you even doing this? And she's like, well, because my exit plan is to be acquired. And I said, what do you mean? So acquired means to be bought out by another company. And I said, okay, but being negative, I don't think no one's interested in buying you out. Because as an investor, I was looking at this and I'm like, I'm not interested in investing in a negative company. And this is where I didn't know anything about that. But Uber up until today is negative.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because their strategy is to scale so fast and so big, and they need money to scale. And then eventually either be acquired or IPO, and then eventually many years later, they might be profitable. They could be profitable. And when she told me she wanted to be acquired, and I said, but which company is going to buy you if they see that you're negative? And they said, because we spent all this money on customer acquisition, we have a huge client database that is with this company that's what we're selling after. We're going to show this other company, be like, look at all the loyal clients we have and the database we have. And that's what they're buying. That was her exit strategy. And that's when a light bulb went for me. I was like, oh, but why are you looking to exit? She's like, Tammy, aren't you looking for a way to retire? Or are you planning to do this until you're 80? And that's when it made me thinking about, okay, what's my exit strategy? So multiple times, there's only two exit strategies. There's you go IPO or you sell your company, right? Or and you get bought out, right? So those are the two exit strategies. Otherwise, do you want to be doing what you do for,
No, we don't.
80
We
years?
don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Me and Dave said we're probably got max 10 years real estate with us.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
already know. We already have it. Like, I have an exit just to be like, I don't want to be a realtor for the rest of my life. Me and Jason have been saying that for a long time, and we've been kind of like phasing out of more and more stuff and becoming more like management. So
Especially when we're raising capital, right? So investors always want to look at exit strategy. How are we going to get our money back? If we put $3 million into you today, how are we going to get that money back? And if you say, oh no, you just got to wait it out until dividends until 60 years old, investors are not interested in that kind of growth. So yeah, so when I found that out, she was just like, I want to be acquired and I'm expecting a fat check. So I might be negative for the next 5 years, but it's because I'm going to get a fat check
at the end of it,
eventually at the end of it, right?
And is that what you see for yourself too?
I'm not looking to get acquired. I'm looking to go IPO.
Okay.
So if I go IPO, I'm looking to be, that's my exit strategy. And my exit strategy is I want to be the shark that buys out other companies.
Crazy. You want to be the Amazon of.
Yeah, kind of.
Designer
Ideally.
luxury
Ideally.
goods.
Yeah.
So do you sell everything just through your own portal, I guess, or
Like website,
yeah, website, everything.
Instagram.
Nothing's through eBay no more. Nothing's through Amazon. Like I don't know.
No.
Yeah.
So all our items are sold through our website or Instagram. And then we have an app launching
Oh, cool.
Crazy.
this year. Yeah.
Shit, you got some big things going on.
Yeah, we do.
What's the biggest lessons you've learned in the last 2 years?
The biggest lessons that I've learned is don't work with friends.
Okay.
We had a little briefing about this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's only because not every friend will have the same values and the same work ethic, and things change. I've seen in the past a lot of business relationships with friends or family could really break that. And it happened to me. I was scammed by my own best friend. So yeah, she wanted to work with me, and it's not my best friend. I was just
It's not the
scammed
best
by-
friend from the first
Yes,
one. Yeah,
it's
okay,
not my
okay.
best friend.
It's
We're
ano-
still
it was
friends.
another ex.
Yeah, it
that's
was
right, okay.
another
Okay.
another friend.
Yeah.
She really wanted to work for my company, and everyone advised me not to, because her work ethic was not even close to, and it wouldn't align. But I really wanted to help this friend out, so I did let her work for me, and the discrepancies and everything that went through that, I just don't want to get into it, but it became that a heated fight. Lawsuits could have happened, and initially ended the friendship. And we're still not friends up
yeah.
until today. Yeah.
It's very
that's-
hard to do business with friends.
It is, especially if it's 50-50.
Yeah.
So I really recommend, if you ever plan to do business with friends, someone has to have the control and the final say. And that was just my biggest lesson in life, was just, now I know, don't work with friends. Everything is strictly very professional. And another lesson that I learned in life is you always have to adapt. And adapting as in keeping up with the trends. So I have seen consignments that were OGs in the game before me taken out after 3 years
Damn.
of maybe us in the game. I don't know. Other people in the game. But
Well, it's the evolvement.
It's the
and,
evolvement, yeah.
And like if you don't adapt, you're basically left behind.
Yeah.
And that's what I see with like even
Real estate.
realtors, right?
yeah,
Like they're not adapting with the technology, they're not utilizing it.
exactly.
And like if you don't adapt, you're left behind for sure.
Yeah. And that's where I saw that there was this huge problem was, if I stayed in my basement, I would eventually get taken out,
For sure.
because I wasn't able to adapt, because I wanted to stay as an Instagram selling page, not have a website, not have an app or whatever it is, right? But I knew eventually I would be taken out like those other competitors, but because those people weren't on all the social media platforms. Like, for example, TikTok. Everyone should be on TikTok right now promoting their businesses. If you're not on there, eventually TikTok will put like live streaming, shopping on there. Your business could be left behind because another competitor will just jump on that.
Yeah. Instagram is even kind of evolving. Less people are using it for
Yeah.
more like personal stuff, you know?
Exactly.
Like we use Instagram every day. We at least have one post like in the social media stuff, but we're also trying to do like stories. Jason's doing reels. Like we're always constantly reposting our stuff. Like we have 8 other associates that we're working with that are all also posting the same content that we are, because it's like a spider web, right? So it reaches a lot more people when you have multiple accounts posting the same content at similar times, right? So we encourage our team to be more active on social, because it's a way of prospecting, but then also working on the deals as well too.
Exactly.
It's a fine balance between the two: prospecting, sales.
I think it's a minimal though to be on social media,
It
right?
is.
Like if you're not on social
Bare
media,
minimum.
like it's you're not even at the standard now,
Yeah.
right? Like that's the minimum standard. I feel like to be pushing out content, right?
Exactly. Like the example would be restaurants that didn't adapt to DoorDash and skip the dishes. And they're like,
During
no,
COVID, yeah.
I don't want to pay those ridiculous fees to be on there. Then they get taken out
Yeah.
Yeah.
because everyone is ordering from DoorDash. Everyone's ordering from Skip the Dishes. So you have to adapt like that. And just another example is like the metaverse and the Web3. I don't know your views on that,
Yeah.
but our company is already looking into how can we be involved in the metaverse, or how do we transition our company into the metaverse, and
Yeah.
how can we do NFTs and things like that, that because we believe that is the future.
Yeah.
And if you're constantly not thinking about what the future is going to look like, you're going to be left behind, because everyone might be on the metaverse,
Yeah.
and everyone might be paying with Bitcoin only. And if you're not constantly thinking of that, you could, it's an outdated business.
That'd be cool actually. If you had like a virtual showroom where you could walk around and look at the bags and like look at it like without actually physically being there. Because
Yeah.
I heard that Apple actually just released a very similar like tap pay from phone to phone.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's
So you
gonna be
could just
coming.
pay friends.
Yeah, so like if I
crazy.
wanted to buy a bag from you right now,
Yeah.
I could just go to your phone and tap it, and it would pay directly from my account to yours.
You see how innovative they are, and
Yeah.
that's why they're
Yeah.
That's
The
why
next,
they're
almost,
Apple, yeah.
they're the billion-dollar
And Apple's
company.
also going to have peer-to-peer for cryptocurrency on this app as well too. So it's a new form of Apple
Yeah.
Pay that is tap to tap.
That's a true example of how do you keep up and why you're always the first.
Yeah.
A lot of people where they struggle is they're always looking at what their competitors are doing and trying to copy them and keep up with them. And that's what we see you'll also fail is because I can guarantee you Samsung is the one that's trying to keep up with, let's say, Apple. I can guarantee you Apple's not looking at what Samsung's doing.
Yeah.
Apple is just thinking about how do we become better? How can we add more value to our customers? And then the competitors are just trying to keep up with you.
Yeah.
But the competitors have to realize that you have to be an innovative thinker to be ahead. And that's something that would be my advice as well.
Yeah, because Apple, they're saying that they're shifting right now from a tech company, from products, to actually becoming a bank. So they're going to be a financial institute in the future, that they're going to be like funding their own stuff. They have their Apple credit cards. You know, everything is going to be paid through an Apple financial system.
That's crazy. Did you guys know Starbucks is actually the biggest bank right now?
Really?
No.
You guys are probably interested. Okay. So you thought they were a coffee shop. You
Yeah.
thought they were a coffee shop until the CEO was like, oh my goodness, why don't we create that app? People have to load up money on there. And when people load up money, they get points. But everyone who loads up money on their app doesn't spend it all in the same day. So imagine how many people drink coffee. And and the CEO was thinking about how to survive COVID at this time.
Yeah.
And so that's how they executed this plan. And it was so amazingly executed that it made me research more and more companies after that.
That's genius, actually.
Yeah. And then now when you think about almost, let's say 1 billion people drink Starbucks. If 1 billion people have $25 in the Starbucks app, they are now the biggest bank.
That's true. That's crazy.
Yeah. That is fucked up.
Well, that's like McDonald's in real estate.
Yeah. They're the largest real estate holder in the world.
Yeah. Obviously, that comes with learning and researching companies and then taking what you've learned from that company and also like seeing how you can implement that in yours, right? Because with that business model from Starbucks, we thought it was a great business model. We're going to integrate in an app somehow, right? And we kind of take those features and you kind of, but remember, don't copy your competitors. Just try to be innovative.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Damn, man, like, I just gotta ask, what is driving you right now? Because you're just like I feel like you're just like.
You're ready
What
to
drives
go.
me?
Yeah.
Aside from money.
It's
But-
it's probably not the purses now, is it?
No, I actually had a downhill of interest for purses, just being around so many every day
Yeah.
and just overwhelmed,
Yeah.
right? What drives me is because now I have kids, I'm really looking forward to doing my next chapter in life, which is being a very dedicated mom. And I know the only way I can do that, was my kids are very young right now, is that I need to expedite this faster so that I could just move on to the next chapter in my life while still doing this, but more part-time. And that's why one of my exit strategies was to be the chairwoman on the board and then possibly step down as CEO and have someone else take my place as CEO.
Interesting.
So, yeah. So what drives me is really my family and having financial freedom, of course, right? Imagine being able to retire your parents that didn't have faith in you at the very beginning, right? That's kind of
That would be the most fulfilling.
yeah,
part.
that's another flex.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so that's really what drives me. And
Probably people don't even know the
yeah,
sacrifices.
I'm not
Yeah.
looking to make a lot of money so I can start partying and doing drugs again. I'll tell you that right now.
I don't think anyone is.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's really just to have that financial freedom and wake up and do what I love, but never stop learning. So
For sure.
yeah, honestly, next time I want to do a debate, because remember how you guys said you guys think working with friends is great, but I want
We didn't say that.
Okay. Just kidding.
Okay, well, I'll start off. I don't think there's. So we're debating whether, or we're in the conversation of whether or not working with your
Friends is a good
With
idea or not.
Okay. So I would say, like, yes, like, I don't know. Yes, I know, because I've had a lot of businesses too, like with friends, with family, my brother, like close friends. Probably like 4, 5, 6 businesses that failed. Right?
Oh, so that proved my debate right then. Technically, the stats just kind of say it all right there.
I would say it's very likely for it to
Yeah.
fail. Okay.
Debate over. I have another debate.
But I mean, I don't know. Me and Dave, like, obviously we're doing something good. I don't know
Yeah.
our, like, we've known each other for like 15 years.
Are you guys 50-50 down the
50-50.
middle?
Yeah.
Okay. And do you guys find like struggles with working together sometimes?
100%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
every day. But the
It's
thing
like,
is
are you
that
just fighting for your relationship to stay alive?
no, I think
Oh.
it's more so the day-to-day stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like it's more so like what needs to be done
Mm-hmm.
and who's doing what, right? Because like you said, we're both all wearing different hats,
Mm-hmm.
and we don't have a specific guideline of this is purely you, this is purely me, and
Mm-hmm.
then this is for the biz, right? So a lot of our stuff right now is like mentoring, making sure things are on track, making sure that things are maintaining the same quality of service as we grow. We have our differences because we're not the same people, obviously, but I think we have a vision in mind, and we always keep that in check, right?
The biggest thing that was very hard to break through is the common ground of communication and how we want the business. So like at one point when we started, like a year or two in, we were like, is this gonna fucking work? Like we were bumping heads a lot. We couldn't get to like a common ground of communication. Yeah, everything could be resolved around communication, right?
Yeah.
And it definitely helps that me and Dave have like the same work ethic, right? So I do agree that it is very hard to work with family and friends.
Yeah.
Obviously my track record, but
Yeah.
I would say like it's not
Impossible.
impossible.
I
But
agree.
there's a lot of work into it.
Yes.
There's a lot of work.
A lot of communication, a lot of
Ego needs to be dropped. That's
Yes.
100%.
Oh,
Yeah.
100%.
that, and also just like, what did you mean by that?
Yeah.
like you can't have conversations over text.
Yes, because the tone always
Yes.
gets taken
It
out of
does.
context.
And if it's not like clear and concise,
Yeah.
you'll read it however you want to read it. That's why we're like, all right, just call me.
Yeah, me and Dave have fought a lot about text. And
Yeah.
then we have to call, and then like, for me, like in my life and not just like in general, I need to be, if you're around me, right, I need to be complete with you. So what that means is like, if I have anything with you,
holding
yeah,
held up inside.
Yeah.
You need to
Just
lay
say
it
it.
out.
yeah, especially if you're around me. If you're
Yeah.
around me, like on a day-to-day basis, and I
Yeah.
have this weird shit with you, Dave knows this.
You want to nip it in the butt
yeah,
right away.
I have to be like, yo,
Yeah.
And move on.
I did this or you did this. I don't feel this way. Like, what the
Yeah.
hell happened, right?
Not everyone can do that though, right?
It's true.
Yeah.
And then
it
not
took a
everyone
long
can
time.
handle it,
Yeah.
right? Because people are like, well, X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, and it's also like, how do you make decisions if it's 50-50? One person is always the final say. And that's where people don't understand. It's like, then that other person gets mad because one person has the final say. And it's like, well, why is it your final say?
For us, we don't
You're
really
losing
have.
this one. You're losing this one for sure.
We don't really have a fight.
We make we actually make a joint agreement on things, right?
okay.
And as long as it's for the greater good and it gets us to where we want to be, our feelings and emotions don't matter.
I always revert logic over emotion,
Yes.
right? Like, are you being emotional right now, or is this logic? You know, and me and Dave, I think, are very more logical
thinkers.
than emotional, and I think that's why. It works now, right? I don't know about the future, Dave. But like, I think if for people that are struggling with working with a close friend or a business partner, it is very hard. I'm not going to deny that.
Yeah.
I have like 4 or
Just
5.
know what you're getting into.
yeah.
Yeah.
If you're okay with losing that relationship possibly at a
Yeah.
very high stake,
Yeah.
then try it.
Yeah.
Because everything could be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is we started in 2017,
Wow.
right? So this is 5 years now,
Yeah.
right? And the business just started from just us two as independent agents.
Yeah.
And now we have like 3 administrative staff and another 5 associates with us that we have to manage, right?
Yeah.
So it's like we're like the parents of the company, and like you can't fight in front of your kids.
No.
You know
We
what I mean?
learned that though.
Yeah.
We used to fight in front of everyone,
Yeah.
and it like they brought it up like 3 months later.
Yeah.
Oh my
And
goodness.
we're
Yeah, like
like,
our
okay,
our
maybe that
first
doesn't
It
work.
puts
our
them-
first
puts them in a
associate.
very awkward position.
Our first child, like we had to like keep our stuff outside of the rest of the group,
Yes.
and we just settle our business outside, and then like the rest of the people don't see it, right?
Yeah.
So it's like I think that's the same thing with children. You have to resolve your issues with your partner outside of your children. Otherwise the children will see it, and like it actually causes issues with the children.
Yeah. So I'll give you another debate, even though.
Wait, who won there?
No, we're definitely no. I mean, I want to rebuttal that.
Okay.
So what happens if David wants to go on a 1-month vacation to China?
We've done that.
Yeah, we
And how do you guys manage that?
We have staff.
So no, before we did it, and it was crazy. Like I was closing deals in Europe, he was closing deals in Japan.
Yeah.
And we're like,
I was
hey,
working.
Oh, okay.
In the
Yeah.
But
morning.
not every business partner wants to work while they're on vacation,
no,
right?
but I think that's the thing. Like me and Dave know we both are working, and even this year, he went on vacation when I was going on vacation, and yeah, it was like, bro, what are you doing? Right?
I was still in Canada.
Yeah, he was still working though, right? I don't think. I think we're aware now that as the team grows, we actually can't be gone at the same time because
Someone has to hold down the fort.
exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we do have a trip where we're both gone for like 4 days.
That's fine.
But we have I think we have a good team now to support us.
Yeah.
Because Jason and his fiance do a portion of his fiance does a portion of the business that no one else can do. So we had to hire somebody to help her while she was gone because she was essentially working the whole time, and there's no one else that can do that part of the business.
Basically like run all the Airbnbs, right?
Oh,
So
right.
like she's the only one and with property management. And so me and her were fighting a lot because she's like venting to me. I'm like, yo, I'm on vacation.
Yeah.
You know? And
I'm
so,
on vacation. Don't bother me.
Yeah.
And then like Dave was on vacation, so I like we didn't actually get a full vacation. That's why we just booked another one.
Yeah.
But I learned from that vacation.
Yeah.
That was like
Yeah.
this isn't workable for me and my fiance's life,
Yeah.
Mel. And it was like, okay, what's this? How do we make it better?
Right.
You know?
Yeah. We're very like solution based though, because I even said that before you guys left. You need to find someone that can take over that position so that you guys can go without having to worry.
Yeah.
Right. Because like in 2019, Jason went to Europe for a month and I went to Japan for a month, and we still closed like a shit ton of deals.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah. So it was.
It was not something I would want to do again.
Oh, okay.
But we learned that
Yeah.
like we shouldn't be gone
The same
at the same time, especially
Yeah.
when the hours are so
different.
different,
Yeah.
right?
Like
It
I
was
was
like 3:00 a.m. and I'm like writing a deal. Like it was
yeah,
pretty stupid.
I would
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
up at night closing deals and then going to sleep for 8 hours and waking up and getting back into the deal for like a few hours in Japan.
Yeah, so I feel like a lot of people would struggle with that, and also who's delegating the task, right? Because there's always going to be one person that tries to delegate the fairest amount of task, and then that other person might be like, no, or whatever it is, right? When it's friends, emotion leads most of the time, to be
no, it
honest,
does,
right?
yeah.
It can, yeah.
It's just like that, but yeah. So at the end of the day, 90%.
90%, yeah. I would say
Okay.
even 95%.
Okay,
Yeah.
That it's not the best
Yeah.
idea.
It takes a lot of communication and also alignment. You need to make sure that you're on the same path.
Exactly. And
Right.
you guys both bring what do you guys bring to the table and determining that. Because not one person, just because you're really good friends and you want to do business with them, but you know they don't bring much else to the table. It's
Yeah.
not the business partner
Yeah.
you really want to
I would say like definitely interview will like make it a very serious interview with the business partner because like
Yeah.
I think me and Dave work off each other where if he's like if I'm slacking a little bit and he's like closing deals, then I'm like, okay, I gotta pick up the pace,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and vice versa, right?
Not
It's
everyone thinks of that. Some people just be like, "Oh, he's working really hard. I'm just collecting the money over here."
yeah, no,
right?
that not for us. If it
Yeah.
was ever like that, it'd be like, bro, like we gotta figure out this.
And then
exit.
that's how friendships break.
We
Yeah.
feed off
'Cause
the
they're like-
momentum,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, that's
off
great.
of each other.
Yeah.
But the self-awareness of like, it always comes down to logic. Like Dave would understand if he wasn't working
Mm-hmm.
that I wouldn't want to continue this business partner,
Yeah.
and vice
right.
versa, right?
Yeah.
I think it's very being aware of like, hey, these are the results. You didn't do this. I didn't do this. Like, why would we stay in partner? And
Yeah.
I think that is the logic behind like
Yeah.
making everything more logical than emotional.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also hold each other accountable because we actually hold our team accountable too. So we have accountability meetings every Monday.
We're pretty much like a married couple.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
pretty-
Well, that is
Yeah.
what business is.
It
If
is.
you go
It
into
is.
business
Yeah.
with something, it's a marriage.
It is
Yeah.
legit. Like, so like I have a really good analogy for relationships,
Okay.
and whether it's your partner or for your business, right? So if you have two boats traveling in the same direction at the same speed, right? If one boat is off by 1 degree, right? Just one single degree off, in 5 to 10 years, you guys will be so far apart that you won't even be able to recorrect again. So you constantly have to be, as you're going down this path, like we might be deviating a bit, but we have to get back to alignment to make sure we're heading to the same direction. Right. And that's like any relationship with your husband or wife or with your business or whatever like that. We always want to make sure that we're back aligned to where we're going. Otherwise, if we're just going all these different paths, we're never going to be at the same destination at the end. You always have to align.
Yeah, I like that analogy, especially putting that 0.5
Yeah.
off track, because it adds up over the
It
years.
does over time.
Yeah.
And that's why I try to get like complete the like before I go to sleep. If some shit happens during that day, I'm like, yo, you fucking pissed me off, man. Like I gotta get clear with you with what you said here.
Yeah.
Like, what did you mean? You know, and then we
We have to settle it.
Yeah, we have to settle it. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So,
We're like a married couple.
yeah.
No, that's gonna make you great for a husband, because I know you said fiance, but that's really gonna set also your marriage up for success, because you
it
kind
is.
of had it
Yeah,
already.
Yeah, like me and her are always like
Yeah.
we could fight, but we always get to alignment because it's like, what's the problem? Okay, how do we make it better?
How do we move forward?
Yeah, how do we move?
Yeah.
Like, it's always like me and Mel are always like, I would say, like me and Dave, like just there's no
Aligned. Yeah.
Alignment.
I definitely would love to come back for a part 2,
Yeah. For
because
sure.
I feel like there's so much more we can discuss.
I know. We talked a lot about the bags, but I feel like
Yeah.
we didn't talk about the business
Yeah.
itself. I feel like we didn't even get into the business.
Yes, but
you-
part 2 will
yeah,
come.
part
Yeah.
two.
A lot of the trials and tribulations.
Yes.
Yeah.
How can they find you, the people on the podcast?
My personal Instagram is private, but they can find me on LinkedIn. It is under Tammy Phan, Phan, and they can also find our company on all social medias: Luxe Du Jour, Luxe Bag Spa, and Luxe Bag Rental.
Yeah, we'll have to dive into those other businesses.
Next time, guys. Next
The
time,
marketing.
guys.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Thanks,
Bye.
Tammy.
Okay.